Hello and welcome back. I'm so glad you can join us as we continue reading this beautiful story called Song of the Unicorn. So let's begin. As Jasper traveled on, the great king caused the wind to trill behind Jasper, singing, "Holy, holy, holy is his name. The great king is deserving of honor and glory." Yet the wind had once chilled him with its fearful cold because Jasper could not hear the wind's song of praise. Now he could understand what the wind was saying. Jasper said, "The great king is my friend. He allowed the wind to make me cold and to whip my tail and face so that I would run faster on my journey to his great country. When I needed him the most, he came to heal me." The great king said, "True, Jasper, I am your friend." And Jasper cantered on. Now Jasper, very close to the country and the city of the great king, he found himself surrounded by holy music. The music was sweeping through the gates of the holy city, rolling out like a giant wave. At the base of the high mountain upon which the city rested, and in the midst of the country of the great king, was the biggest, most magnificent thorn tree that Jasper had ever seen. praise him, for he doth all things well," sang the thorn tree. The great king said to Jasper, "See, I made all things work together for your good. I am the head, the ruler over all things. If I had not allowed the thorns to pierce you and to make you bleed, you never would have known my comforting, healing touch as the great king. I healed and comforted you so that you could journey on toward my country and my holy city. Do not doubt, Jasper, that I am your friend. I did all things for your good so that you could grow to maturity and do what you were created to do. Glorify me." Jasper knew that what the great king said was true. He was sorry he had ever been deaf to the king's good plans and purposes for him. Jasper had misjudged the king's goodness when the king had sent him into the dark night, when the gray wolves had nipped at his hocks, when the cold, frosty wind had chilled him, when the icy pools had made it difficult for him to drink, and when the thorn trees had pierced his tender hide. Jasper lowered his head in shame and wept. In his newly found understanding, Jasper discovered that all his painful experiences were the great king's blessings in disguise. He was now grateful for the faithfulness of his friend, the great king, who had helped him grow stronger and who had pushed him onward toward his holy country and city. Now he would be reunited with his beautiful mother, and he would see the great king again. Jasper climbed the mountain that night, and in the morning he arrived at the gate of the great city. During the last part of his journey, Jasper had turned pure white. He was now a totally white unicorn of faith because his faith in the great king had grown to maturity. He also had a stout horn growing under his forelock. The gatekeeper at the entrance of the holy city asked Jasper, "What is your song?" In answer, Jasper's song began to flow up from the depths of his heart, ringing out and joining other voices flowing from around the holy country and out from the great city. The great King in the righteous cause of all things. He is the owner and master. Holy, mighty, and just is his name. Parts of his song Jasper had learned because the great King had placed him in the night among the wolves, and had the wind blown contrary to him. He had covered the pools of water with ice and had caused Jasper to stumble among the thorn trees. Yet the great King had been there to heal Jasper and strengthen him with new life when he fell. Jasper's experience had shown him that the great King was with him all the time, helping Jasper to reach his great country and city. Other parts of his song Jasper had learned from his mother and from the personal presence of the great King himself. But it was Jasper's song alone that revealed his longing for the great King. His great song of praise to the great King caused the gates of the holy country and the holy city to open wide that he could enter. Jasper found his mother as soon as he was in the holy city, and together they joined the great King. The greatest joy of all to Jasper was knowing that never again would he be separated from the great King, whom he had come to love with all his heart, soul, mind, and strength. Together, Jasper and his mother trotted out into the countryside, where they enjoyed the lush green pastures that would be there for eternity, to feed them with pleasure and joy and peace and everlasting life. And they were able to drink from the clear crystal streams of living water that always would be flowing through the country of the great King, to bring them eternal satisfaction and happiness. Never again would they have painful experiences, for their growth in belief and trust and in faith in the great King had brought them safely through all the things that had tried to hinder them in their journey. They always would have the privilege of entering the great city and worshiping at the feet of the great King, and so they lived happily ever after. It is my hope that you found great joy in this story, as it's definitely been an encouragement to me, and that you've learned something special, something significant, and that is how precious you are to the great King. So remember Matthew 19:14. But Jesus said, "Suffer little children, and forbid them not to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom of heaven." And please never forget, always remember, you are loved, you are appreciated, and truly valued. So thank you for being a part of this story time, and we will start a new story next week. Until then, take care and God bless.